First of all, I must say that composing, arranging, and editing are very different. About editing, I can say that my first edition was the four flute quartets by Mozart, which I edited for Henle in 1997 when I was 26. This publisher's house asked me to edit these works because I published an essay about the D major flute quartet, criticizing many decisions of the Neue Mozart-Ausgabe, NMA, concerning my composing. I can say that when I was young, I actually composed a lot, but only for myself. Nearly no piece of that time has ever been performed in public. Later, I concentrated on composing cadenzas or reconstruction works. This work of composing helps me to come deeper into the composer's thoughts. I started my arranging of other works when I intensified my teaching at university. And I arranged many pieces for my students. I started with orchestra excerpts for flute quintet. Then I discovered that also arranging pieces gives me more insight into the composer's thoughts, and so it's like a way of learning about music. So there's a long tradition in the 18th and 19th century that performers improvise on stage. Actually, when I practice, I start with improvising, taking motives from the piece. So actually, I don't know exactly what I'm going to play when I play my free fantasy, but it will be some sort of improvisation. But I'm very excited because this is the very first time that I improvise in public. That's a difficult question, but maybe one of my favorite arrangements of pieces Mozart has written for musical clocks. So this was mechanical clock which produced the music, and Mozart has written 3 pieces for this clock, very great pieces from his last years. And I arranged these pieces for wind ensemble. 2 oboes, 2 clarinets, 2 bassoons, 2 horns, and in the last piece there's also a flute. We played these arrangements in Munich several years ago. I think they work well, but I haven't found a publisher. I also like my Daphnis arrangement, which I'm going to play in Seoul. But this arrangement was not that much work than the audience expect, because Ravel himself arranged his Daphnis for piano solo. And he also divided the whole ballet into several parts, which can be performed separately. So it was easy for me to find where to start and where to end, because Ravel made this decision before me. And I could take the piano part, taking out a flute part, and making the piano part a little bit easier. And the aim was to have chamber music work for flute and piano. You ask about pieces I'm arranging at the moment. The last days I arranged the prelude to the third act of Traviata. Maybe some Korean flutists have listened to my last concert in Seoul in August, where I performed the prelude to the first act of Traviata for flutes. And now I make a new edition of this arrangement, and we thought maybe one prelude is a little bit too little for an edition, and now we have 2 preludes. The next days I want to make an instrumentation of the last 20 bars of the Reinecke Concerto in a so far unknown version I have found. So people who know my edition of Reinecke Flute Concerto know that I have 2 different endings for the flute concerto, so the ordinary one and a very old one, original one, but there's also a third ending between, but we have only the piano reduction by Karl Reinecke, and this has never been published. I think I'm the only one who has this version on the earth, because the original source maybe was destroyed. And I want to make an instrumentation of this ending, which I estimate very much, and maybe I can present it in May in Seoul, and this will be the first performance of this new ending. And the flute part is the same as people know, but the orchestra is a little bit different. And what is interesting to me is that the orchestra part in this ending is more important. So the ending, has lots of scales and but just simple chords in the orchestra, and the soloist has much space to produce himself, because the orchestra is totally unimportant. But people who know Reinecke very well know that this could not be the intention, the original intention of Reinecke, because for him the performer was not that important. And when I play this new ending, I can show that there was a way of combining both the possibility to the performer to produce himself on stage, but also to give the orchestra a role which is more important. I want also to arrange Laprès-midi by Debussy. I started with this arrangement, but I had not enough time to complete it. The reason I want to arrange this piece once again, I think there are already 4 or 5 arrangements published, but none of these is really a chamber music piece, and I can't imagine that Debussy would ever have arranged his piece in this way. So I want an arrangement which has more communication between piano and flute. It should not be just a solo piece for flute. of course, we have important solos in this piece, but in the end, I think it should be more chamber music, more communication. And that's what I'm working on, and I have already made a decision which melody comes in which instrument, but it's a lot of work to write a piano part which is comfortable to play for the pianists. And this takes more time. Maybe I can do it in summer, but I will need at least a week of very concentrated work for this.